nominate Honorable Tajuddin Abbas.
I so second.
I rise to humbly accept the nomination.
Is hereby declared the winner and returned elected as the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Our role is to scrutinize them thoroughly, ensuring they align with the best interests of our constituents.
Speaker Abbas Tajuddin speaks on tax reforms bills, assures Nigerians of thorough scrutiny.
Increase in the number of judges in the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
And lawmakers canvass for an increase in the number of High Court judges in the FCT. Thank you for joining us on this fresh episode of House Ticket, a weekly education on the workings of the House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria. My name is Dehelia Mamza. It's good to be with you again. Discussions during plenary during the week in review saw various people-oriented motions and bills, one of which necessitated lawmakers urging the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Development as well as other stakeholders to create support systems for women who have participated in egg donation exercise. The House also deliberated the tax reform bills, highlight of which we'll bring you in the course of our program. Our reports also include an outreach by a lawmaker to his constituents. Do join us again after this time out for the full program.
The House will pay priority attention to participatory budgeting process and delivery, law reform, electoral reform, women's participation and inclusion in governance, among others.
I urge all of us to go as a group, to go and pay our last respects to the body of our departed colleague.
When the House resumed for plenary on Tuesday, 19th November 2024, it received notification from the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, of the valedictory session of late Senator Ifeanyi Patrick Uba, which was holding that same day at the Senate chamber. Plenary was brief in order to allow the lawmakers pay their last respects to the late Senator Ifeanyi Uba. Speaker Abbas Tajuddin led the principal officers as well as some members of the 10th House to the Senate chamber to honor their departed colleague. May the soul of the departed rest in peace. Let us get a summary of House plenary for the 2 days the lawmakers sat last week. Highlights include a bill which seeks to amend the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to provide for increase in the number of judges in the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory. The report of these and other resolutions from plenary as compiled and presented from the studio.
When the House resumed on Tuesday, 19th November 2024, it received several letters from the Office of the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They include the submission of the 2025-2027 Midterm Expenditure Framework for the kind consideration and approval of the House of Representatives. The framework is based on the approved economic parameters by the Federal Executive Council. Transmission of the National Social Investment Program Agency Establishment Amendment Bill for consideration and approval of the House of Representatives. Request for a resolution of the National Assembly for approval for an external borrowing plan of over 1 trillion naira in the 2024 Appropriation Act.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Wednesday, 20th November 2024, A bill for an act to assure adequate funding for mineral resources exploration and extraction through public-private partnership (PPP) and for related matters, sponsored by Representative Lanre Okunlola, scaled second reading.
The aim of this bill is to ensure that our mining sector reach its full potential, creating jobs and fostering economic growth and strengthening our country's self-sufficiency in mineral resources.
We have abundant mineral resources.
There were contributions to the debate on the bill.
The untapped mineral resources in Nigeria is almost to the tune of more than 80%. Government is not designed to do any business. It has been a practice all over the world that private companies or private partnership works, particularly in tapping the untapped mineral resources all over the world.
In Zimbabwe, there is an arrangement like this. We can as well do better because we have abundant mineral resources lying fallow, untapped. And if my distinguished colleagues support this bill, it will help our economy.
The bill was referred to the House Committee on Solid Minerals Development for further work.
Clerk.
Still on second reading of bills, the House on Thursday, 21st November 2024, considered a bill for an act to amend the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Number of Judges Act, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for increase in the number of judges in the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and for other related matters. Sponsored by the Deputy Speaker and 7 others.
A bill for an act to amend the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Number of Judges Act, Cap H6, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for increase in the number of judges in the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and for related matters.
There was no debate on the bill, and it was referred to the House Committee on FCT Judiciary and Constitution Review for more legislative work.
The ayes have it.
There was a motion on the International Day for Elimination of All Forms of Violence Against Women. It was considered on Thursday, 21st November 2024, and sponsored by Representative Kafilat Ogbara.
Violence against women and girls remains largely unreported due to the impunity, silence, stigma, and shame surrounding it. The House is informed that violence against women continues to be an obstacle to achieving equality, development, peace, as well as the fulfillment of women and girls' human rights. The promise of the Sustainable Development Goals to leave no one behind cannot be fulfilled without putting an end to violence against women and girls.
The House, in its resolutions on the motion, called on the National Orientation Agency to improve its sensitization and awareness campaigns on these issues. Representative Kafilat also called on the Budget Office, as well as the Ministry of Finance, to ensure budgetary allocation for the enforcement of policies aimed at tackling the menace. She then called on the House Committee on Women Affairs and Social Development to establish mechanisms for the compliance of all relevant acts on the issue.
They could be annoying sometimes.
Some lawmakers contributed to the motion.
In this period of progressive politicking and progressive democracy that we operate in this country, I think there is no two-point about all of us lending our voices to Honorable Kapilat to allow this motion fly.
On behalf of the women, beginning from my mother to my children, my dear wife, and all female teachers that I have learned formal and informal things from, including even Professor Lillian, I support this motion. I support the women wholeheartedly.
This motion is timely, and I urge all our members to lend their voices to read. Even the scriptures ascribe to the women as the weaker vessel, and we are here today to strengthen it.
We all need women in our life. They could be annoying sometimes, very annoying, but we don't have option.
to live with them, just like they don't have option to live with us. So, Mr. Speaker, I totally support this motion with my everything, and I will urge the House to equally support this motion, because when you have a good woman that is happy at home, you find out that you will be very happy at home.
Those in support of this motion should say aye.
The House voted, adopted, and amended the prayers of the motion and referred it to the House Committee on Women Affairs.
The ayes have it.
The House notes that the
Representative Kwamoti Beatrice Lowry also sponsored a motion in which he urged the Federal Minister of Health and Social Development and the Minister of Women Affairs to create support systems for women who have participated in egg donation to help address health complications and psychological impact. The motion was titled Illegal Harvesting and Commercialization of Human Eggs in Nigeria.
in 2022, an Abuja-based fertility clinic was found involved in the illegal commercialization of human eggs to foreign clients, enrolling women under false claims of being part of legitimate egg donation programs. Reports suggest the clinic online platform is inflating egg prices for international couples, underscoring the need for a robust Nigerian regulatory framework to regulate fertility practices. Worried that the absence of comprehensive legislation governing reproductive health in Nigeria has allowed these illegal activities to thrive. While the National Health Act provides some guidelines for reproductive health, specific regulations regarding egg donation and commercialization are lacking.
The House, in its prayer, also urged the Minister of Health and Social Development and the Minister of Information and National Orientation Agency to intensify public awareness initiatives focusing on the risks and ethical consideration of egg donation to help inform potential donors and discourage exploitation. Mandate the House Committee on Healthcare Services to investigate the spate of illegal egg donation and practice of assisted reproductive health technologies in Nigeria, recommend measures to prevent further incidents, and report within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Also mandate the Committees on Healthcare Services and Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance.
Those in support of this motion should say aye.
The motion was voted on and adopted and was referred to the House Committee on Healthcare Service, Public Services, as well as that on Special Duties.
The ayes have it.
Glad to know you're still tuned to House Ticket. Before the break, we brought you a summary of deliberations during plenary for last week, spanning 19 to 21st November 2024. Our next segment takes us to the interactive session on tax reform bills organized by the leadership of the House of Representatives on Monday, 18th November 2024. Let's get details of that meeting as well as other activities in our next report, as compiled and presented from our studio. In view of the many concerns over the tax reform bills by the executive arm of government, the 10th House of Representatives organized the People's House interactive session on the tax reform bills.
From the executive to expand Nigerians' tax base.
Speaking during the event, Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, stated that the House will consider the tax reform bills presented to the National Assembly by the executive arm of government considerately and in the interest of Nigerians.
Let me be clear. The House has not taken any definitive position on these bills. Our role is to scrutinize them thoroughly, ensuring they align with the best interests of our constituents and the nation at large. We owe this duty to Nigeria. I extend my gratitude to the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee and Federal Inland Revenue for their work in presenting these proposals, and to our partners, including Yaga Africa, Budget, and the dedicated consultants and academics who have provided invaluable guidance.
He said the controversies surrounding the bill are a reflection of their importance, adding that such debates are healthy and necessary in a democracy. Speaker Abbas Tajuddin said the interactive session was to channel those discussions into productive outcomes, stressing that it is critical that the House listens to diverse perspectives, asks probing questions, and seeks clarity on any unclear provisions.
Tax reforms should be rooted in a collective aspiration.
The Deputy Speaker in his presentation, Right Honorable Benjamin Okeze Kalu, assured Nigerians that the tax reform bills will undergo public scrutiny to allow citizens evaluate them and make input, while emphasizing the need for clear articulation of necessary provisions to ensure equity, economic growth, inclusivity, and also the promotion of sustainable development for the nation.
In this regard, we expect more insight into how tax reforms incentivize digital economy, how it supports small businesses and low-income households, and more importantly, how the zero-rated value-added tax works or should work. In simple terms, what mischief do we intend to cure? What is the existing tax regime? And where do we want to go from here?
Current system of VAT we have.
Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, in his presentation said the proposed tax reform bills before the National Assembly were not aimed to undermine any region of the country, but rather ensure efficiency and give more revenue to states where goods and services are consumed.
Many states have other consumption tax. They call it different name: consumption tax, entertainment tax, hotel and event center tax. In reality, this is multiplicity of taxes. Why should you have 2 consumption taxes, 3 consumption taxes? We are proposing that let's make the VAT system work for everyone and let everybody discontinue any other form of consumption taxes in the interest of our businesses.
We are here today.
Stakeholders present included the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, Zak Adedeji, and the Director General of the Budget Office, Tanimu Yakubu, and a host of others.
We are here today as an observer to listen to the process of law because our duty is only implementation. We are not a policy formulator. We only listen, and whatever the law that is passed down to us, we implement.
The growth rate we are generating is very marginal. We do not have the revenue to reignite the process of growth. And I think this sets the background to the economic stabilization bill that it is your privilege to debate and eventually give us new tax codes that will generate the revenue that will sustain a more prosperous and inclusively growing Nigeria.
Glad to know you're still tuned to House Ticket, a weekly update that keeps you up to speed on the activities of your lawmakers at the Green Chambers. Our next report takes us up north to Kaduna State, Igabi local government area, precisely from where we will see lawmaker Hussaini Mohammed Jallo in his generous service to humanity to appreciate and give back to his constituents. This was on Sunday, 17th November 2024. This special outreach was tagged Jallo Cares, is a 1,400 exclusive free skills acquisition empowerment program targeted at women, youth, as well as elderly people with disability to show support for his constituents. Lawmaker Hussaini Mohammed Jallo said the gesture is aimed at encouraging his constituents and impacting on their lives positively, just as he hopes it will go a long way in making the beneficiaries self-reliant and independent.
Mun koya musu dinki da yin bedsheet, da yin takalmi da jaka, da yin aski, da yin chemical wanda zaka iya mai ko sabulu. The second meeting. al'ummar da ke wannan wuri wanda muka koya musu wannan sana'o'i ne wanda tuntuni sun gama za mu graduating nasu yau za mu ba certificate da starter pack. Wannan jaka ya ƙunshi duk abin da mutum muka koya mishi, mun sai one set na wannan abin mutum zai je ci gaba da yi a gida. Muna fata abin da za mu koyo Allah ya albarkaci wannan sana'a da kuka yi.
Further speaking, Representative Jallo appreciated those who trained the beneficiaries and promised that from January 2025, every ward in Igabi Federal Constituency will be empowered with such interventions as well as supported with cash. The outing saw beneficiaries presented with starter packs as well as certificates presented to them. Beneficiaries also showcase all they have learnt during their training in the area of tailoring and fashion design, cosmetology, shoemaking, perfume, bedsheets and blankets making, amongst others. During the event, former Governor of Kaduna State, Senator Ahmed Makarfi, as well as the PDP party chairman of Kaduna State, Edward Marshall, gave their goodwill messages.
Ina taya ku murna kuma ina taya ku murna saboda abubuwan alheri da kake shukawa a wannan mazaɓa taka. Allah ya sa albarka ya jagoranci. To sauran yan jami'an a haɗa kai haɗa kan nan shine zai sa a daɗe ana amfana.
Muna muku godiya da goyon baya da kuka bamu a wannan lokaci mu jagorance PDP a wannan jihar. Na sha jawabi so da so cewa za mu yi muku adalci insha Allah. Shi yasa za mu komo da party ma grassroots.
Beneficiaries of the starter packs expressed their gratitude for the kind gesture.
I sincerely want to appreciate Honorable Jallo Hussaini for the support. He have really supported us. Like we were not having what to do. And now he came into our life and he gave us what to do. Sincerely from our heart, we really appreciate.
We really appreciate him for what he has done, because now we are in an era whereby a situation whereby people are looking a job. There is no job here now in Nigeria, but if you have self-reliant, you can able to do something that will be empower yourself and your family.
I came here to compliment the good effort of this legislator, which he did today. Is a thing that we expect all the legislators to do the same, because to empower people is something that is very important. At least people should be self-employed, people should be self-reliant.
The second phase of the empowerment program saw the lawmaker presenting brand new motorcycles, sewing machines, water pumps, grinding machines, cash gifts, amongst others to beneficiaries. Representative Hussaini Mohammed Jallo was presented with an award by the youths in his constituency as an icon of integrity.
A certain desire, they never retire, instead they refire until you achieve your ultimate desires.
Let us keep those feedbacks coming in through questions, comments and observations concerning the workings of the legislature, and we will do our best to get them answered by your representatives. We also urge you to send in videos as well of any project or program in your community through the various constituency outreach programs facilitated by your representatives in the House. Do send in these feedbacks through the various channels showing on your screen. And if you missed this episode of the program, do catch up through our social media platforms on display. On that note, I say stay safe and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.